then welcome everybody and good afternoon. It's a pleasure to see you today for this QBS talk. And welcome both QBS partners, ISVs, other attendees, whoever you are on the call. Good to have you here. I do hope that we'll have a few minutes together sharing some good information. As you probably know, the QBS Talks is a series of talks that we are providing, sharing insight on things, trends, whatever is going on out there. This particular QBS Talk is about Dynamics 365 update, and the second one in a series of more that I'll come back to that. So it's a little bit, you could say we're trying to share what we can and must share at this moment. Unfortunately, a lot of the information we have is under a non-disclosure agreement. But of course, we will try to share as much as we can, at least for you, those of you who want to move with Dynamics 365, and at least give you a hint of where you should go with your next steps. My name is Niels Erik Hansen, and I have been with QBS for 3 years. I have a solid background in the IT business, especially with division in the platform. Currently, I am acting as a cloud solution architect for QBS, helping partners across Europe in getting their IPN businesses ready for Dynamics 365. So I'm very pleased to be hosting this session today. So, I mean, as I said, this is the second QBS on this topic, and since Dynamics 365 is yet only available in the US and Canada, and we have no official announcements for other countries, you could say that we're still in the think phase, but things are moving very fast towards the next coming months. Hopefully with this session we will encourage you to consider your next steps towards Dynamics 365. So the build phase is of course catching up on us, you could say. Good. The updates on Dynamics 365, as things are moving pretty fast. This is the second one. The next one will be on May 29. We will do this every 6 weeks, and hopefully keep up with the process and the progress that we see from Microsoft and the best practices that we gain from our own channel and that we can share with everybody on these calls. So mark your calendars for these dates if you want to know more about what's going on. I do expect, though, that maybe some important news will come up after the Directions Asia event in April, but we will come back with more on that if that's true. All right. But as I said, things are moving very fast. We still know that the Dynamics 365 Business Edition Financials, as we are referring to right now, is available in US and Canada. We know that Office 365 is available all over the place, of course, and we also know now that the CRM part for Dynamics 365 is approaching us as well. So there's a lot of stuff to keep up with. Talking about moving fast, this guy James Crowder, who is a Microsoft MVP, he was presenting at Microsoft at one point, comparing the Dynamics 365 world with Lego. And since I'm a Danish guy, of course, Lego is one of the favorite toys I worked with or played with when I was a kid. And of course, it should be easy and easy to play with or build upon. But please also note that Lego can be complicated as well. So let that be a reminder for you. Despite this story here. Well, you probably already saw this one before, the characteristics on Dynamics 365. But basically, it's a model where customers can start with the easy things and the right fit for the business and grow they need it. You have the productivity, which of course is the Office 365 tools, and on top of that, intelligence can be built in with the additional tools that is provided. I'll come back to some of that in a minute. But we are talking about Cortana intelligence and stuff like that. And then, of course, it's ready for growth, which means that this platform is second to none compared to the competitors out there. Really a way that you can grow your business into the future with more users, more features and functions, and maybe even grow outside the Dynamics 365 and go back on an on-prem customized platform if that is needed. This one has come in many shapes and forms, and I'm not sure that this is the latest one, to be completely honest. But this is the of the Dynamics 365 Business Edition. Of course, we have Azure in the bottom. We have the application platform with the Power Apps tools, Power BI, Flow, and the common data model in the middle. And then we have the Dynamics 365 Business Edition. Again, the Dynamics 365 comes in many flavors and tastes, but Business Edition Financials is the one that we know from the name Project Madeira in the US and Canada. On the side, we have, of course, the Office 365, and we have Power BI, which now can be embedded, as you can see, also in the Dynamics 365 and NAV 2017, for that matter. Cortana, Azure, Internet of Things, and on top of that, we have the apps, which is what I'm going to focus a little bit on today. How to put apps in the app source, and that's where you as a partner actually will provide value to Dynamics 365. Of course, on the side we have third-party applications that we can integrate with as well. But all up, I mean, Dynamics 365 Business Edition is a very complex and comprehensive solution for the future businesses. I don't know, somebody's writing something, I can't read it. So if it's for me, then I'm not seeing it. So I'm talking about the apps here. We all know this guy, the late Steve Jobs, who actually, well, probably were first to put up apps in the App Store for the iPhone and the other Apple devices. And what's an app? I mean, yeah, an app is actually a place, or the App Store is a place where you can put down, go find your app, whatever app you want, download it, use it, and if you don't want it, then you can discard it again. So if you look at that from a Dynamics 365 perspective, the App Store will be the same. I mean, customers will go find their apps. I need to know if I have to respond to something, Danielle.
No, you can go on. It is about the slides. You cannot see it. You can go on.
Is the slides available now?
No, he will try to enter the meeting again. You can proceed.
Okay. Thank you. Just hear a little beep all the time. So, I mean, an app is actually, you could say, a packaged tool. It could be a small feature, it could be an add-on, it could be anything that will reach the solution that the customer has. And compared to what we see today, where you as a partner needs to go in and embed these apps or these extensions, whatever you have made, or add-ons, I mean, the customer will be able to download this stuff and start that up immediately in their own solution. So it's a new game, it's a new way of attacking the market for even for business solutions in the future. And then of course it has to be easy, it has to be fast, and of course it has to be priced to the value that it actually gives. As we also know from phones, I mean, if we don't want the app or we find it too expensive and there's an alternative, yeah, we will just discard it and go for that. And App Source is already open, as it says here. It's open for you, and apps can be submitted through the portal. There's a process, of course, which can be found on the portal right now. And the way that you actually build apps for NAV or for Dynamics 365 is by using and deploying it on extensions. I'll come back to extensions in a minute. App source, if you look at it from a business perspective, this is the destination for the business users to discover, to do a trial, and then to acquire, of course, the business that they want. Microsoft is operating with the 5 seconds to wow and the 5 seconds to sign up and the 5 minutes to wow. So it has to be very, very slick, easy, and sexy, if you could put it like that, in order for people to get on board in this app world here. So, roadmap. A blue screen that says Dynamics 365 in the lower right corner. I attended a couple of days of workshop with Microsoft last week here in Denmark, and this would be the excellent time for you to get a lot of information about roadmap, details around availability in countries, and so on and so forth. And it would be my pleasure, and I would be delighted to give you that, but unfortunately that is not possible, right? Of course, what we can say is that the dates are getting closer. We know that we will come with a new solution for countries in Europe, but we cannot express anything about that right now. I know that's not very useful, but that's the scenario we have right now. In the call to actions, I will give you, of course, some hints about, what you should do right now, where you should go in order to get prepared for this. So hopefully next time we will be able to share a little bit more, maybe also on the QB shares that we are doing around Europe, and I'll come back to that on a few slides as well. So, but you could say, has the train left the station? No. I mean, there's no worries. I mean, the train is actually filling up right now. So if you want to board the train, yes, you should get your luggage ready and the ticket, and then get into the train. But please note, this train is going to be pretty full. So I mean, somebody will make it before you if you're not eager to buy the first tickets for the trip with the Dynamics 365. I'll come back to you a little bit again on how to onboard the train, but of course you can follow the progress on the official Dynamics 365 roadmap slide. There's a nasty link here. You can write it down, or I will send it to you later. On this side, you can see what's new, what has already been developed in the running Dynamics 365 solution in the US and Canada area. What's currently in development, you can see bill of material is, for instance, coming up, and the previous releases are also mentioned in there. In here, you also find information about countries, availabilities, and so on. There's nothing there right now, so unfortunately, that's not gonna help you a lot at this point. So sorry, but that's the situation right now. So in order to tell you how to onboard the train, I mean, let's talk a little bit about how to get there, the next steps for you guys, and share that with you. So one is, of course, extensions. And extensions, for those of you who attended the first call, I think you already know about this. And if you are an Office 360 or Dynamics NAV partner today, you have heard about extensions. It was first introduced with the NAV 2016 and has been reworked for NAV 2017 with even more options to work with the product. So what you should do is evaluate the architecture on your solution or solutions, whatever, how many you have, and figure out how to appify them. Because there is only one way to get to app source, and that is via the extensions. So you have to refactor your code by use and events. And that's the only ways that you can actually have extensions to work with your solution. And the recommendation right now is to use events as much as possible. Then some of you would probably have a solution that will require .NET code, DLLs, and stuff like that. If that's the case, you could say, I cannot use extensions. But of course, there's a way for that as well. One will be to use external services for stuff like that, or maybe build your stuff in a different way. If you want to discuss some of this stuff, please approach me. But I mean, this is definitely a call to action for you guys. I mean, go look at your solution. What does it take to move it from your current code into extensions, or if you want to build new stuff that you want to share with people around the world, you should definitely use extensions for that. The only access to the App Store or App Source. Extension can be used in NAV 2017 as well, but only for Dynamics 365. You can submit your extension already now. Actually, make it available for the Canadian and American customers. If you have a certified 4 CFMD solution for NAV and you didn't attend the event last week in Copenhagen, please don't hesitate to contact us for more details, because there will be some actions that you need to consider in your case. Right? Another way to get ready is to, of course, attend, I already said that, the next QBS talks and updates on Dynamics 365. But what we also try to do is put together a training around, we call it PPP, Product Pricing and Packaging. I have a slide on what that is all about. We do that training in these 6 locations, as you can see. If you don't want to go to Barcelona on the 4th of April, you can always come to Copenhagen and see me. I think Barcelona will be preferred for most of you, but Copenhagen might be closer. So we're doing that Madrid, Leusden in Holland, Hamburg, and in London. So from start of April until end of May. This job is will give technical insight in the setup and effective cloud business. So what we're actually doing is taking a lot of the information that we already have gotten from Microsoft on the product, a little bit more on apps and extensions. What about the pricing? How to consider the business case? What is needed to look into that from staffing perspective, hosting scenarios, stuff like that. And packaging, how do you sell this? How do you put a price tag on the package, and which services do you put on top? The training is for program managers, but also, of course, for business owners, senior managers who wants to go into the cloud adoption area. I would say that it's a lot of information in one day. You probably during the evening, but we try to do it in an educational way and with many good examples that is comparing to the real world out there. So I can recommend that highly, of course, if you have interest in that. Another way to not just get information, but also other, similar partners to talk to and share knowledge and best practice with them. I recommend the QB shares that we are doing around Europe in the next period. So we have United Kingdom, Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, Austria. I think that's in Munich, and the 11th of May. At these events, normally we have external speakers, maybe Microsoft coming in. We have all the latest updates on the products and how we can help you, assist you, and we have partner-to-partner references as well, so people can share with each other how they did things in a good way, maybe build an extension, or how to put an app in the app source. We also have at these events ISVs located with podiums in the networking area, in order for you to visit them and have about how these ISVs can increase your business. So please note the dates for that as well. You will be able to find more on the QBS group websites. Finally, we have defined internally at QBS a way to help partners to go to Dynamics 365. And we have kind of an internal name for that called Route 366. So it's Dynamics 365 plus one, where the one is the QBS services. But what it's all about, the mission is to enable partners to get ready for the Dynamics 365, help partners to get the IP on App Source, and help you to distribute the apps and the services around the IP that you have been doing. And of course, we also want to onboard new partners to this world. Because you could say that there's a lot of stuff to consider, and there's a lot of offerings out there, and these are just, you could say, a snap of what was available maybe a month ago. You know, workshops, trainings, consulting services, marketing, and we deliver some of them, Microsoft delivers some of them, QBS vendors, and even third party outside this network is delivering a lot of content and training and readiness around the Dynamics 365. So you can do this yourself and figure out you know, what is the best possible way for you to get on board with the Dynamics 365, or how to get an IP on the app source. What we have defined is actually a four-step process here. Some of you might have been already taking the disruption workshops and the Cloud Sure Step for Dynamics workshops that has been provided all over Europe by QBS and by Microsoft. And then we have on top of that the Cloud Sure Step for product pricing and packaging, which I just mentioned a minute ago. So that's kind of the readiness. If you've already been there and you have said, okay, fine, we want to do something, we just want to stay in our own world, fine, but do the thinking and then say, okay, next step will be probably to do a workshop that will outline, you know, exactly how you come from A to C on this topic. So we have defined this cloud solution workshop, one-day workshop, that ends up in a readiness report. I'll come back to that in a minute. And the report will contain a number of activities, services, and help you do the implementation in your organization. So an easy way to bypass all the stuff that was on my list previously. So if you want to design, build, run an agile, standardized offering on 365, yes, this is one for you. And if you're considering new opportunities to extend, so whatever you're doing in your business today, that's a good opportunity as well. We will talk about everything from business case to implementation on an organizational agile development and Scrum and stuff like that. The content of the workshop, and you can use this as an inspiration also if you don't want to do the workshop. We look at these elements. What market are you looking at? What organization do you need to have behind that? Some of the elements that we also mentioned from the PPP workshop. Of course, what is the products that you want to serve or provide? And the production, how do you produce all of this stuff? And then everything is wrapped within the most important part, of course, the value proposition. And the value proposition, let's go back to the App Store again and say, hey, I downloaded an app for my smartphone. It didn't really fulfill the needs I had, or maybe the marketing around it was not really right, so I delete it again and find something else. So it's very important that you have a value proposition. What does this thing do to my end customers? What market are we serving? What is the value that we actually bring to this market? And then, of course, we have the element of time coming out of all of this. I hope this makes sense. I want to dive just into one of the areas. They say, okay, let's talk about products, because that's the idea of bringing the app to the App Store. So what you could say here, elements that will be discussed is, of course, the base product. What is your IP? Will you need to build other ISV add-ons into this? How would you leverage on Office 365, Power BI, Flow, Power Apps, and so on and so forth? What is behind that? And when we know that, then you say, okay, how do we get there? Yes, we build an extension. Do we need to get it certified? How do we integrate? What kind of tools are we using? What about the user experience? I just mentioned the 5 seconds to sign up, the 5 minutes to wow. How do we get there in order to make people happy about the solution that we're putting up here? And then activities behind all of this. So do we need to outsource some of this stuff? I mean, some of the development can be done by other parties. Do we need to use Rapid Start-like tools? What about training? What about staffing? How do we do this? Can we collaborate with somebody who can help us? And what about localization? Which countries do we want to serve, and which languages, and so on and so forth. So a lot of elements and activities to discuss. And behind this, all of these activities ends up in some kind of plan, say, hey, on this and this date, you should have finalized that. We have a workshop around maybe marketing or business case setup, stuff like that. So all of that will be planned after this workshop. So from do-it-yourself to actually a clear roadmap for your to go from where you are now to put your first app in the App Store, or even build a broader business around the Dynamics 365 story. I hope this makes sense, and probably you saw the picture over here before, but the top picture here, that's the platform that the Volkswagen Group is using for a lot of their vehicles, and you could say, this is Dynamics 365. Aren't we all just going to be alike if we all drive the same platform? Our goal is, of course, to make sure that we individualize the outcome so that we have a smart red Golf for the young audience, and we have a white Audi for the ones who wants a little bit more comfort and will pay for a little bit newer technology that you find maybe in the Skoda and the Seat, right? So that's kind of the purpose here, to ensure that we're running the same platform. We have different value propositions to provide. Another thing that I want to stress here, of course, is when you want to build an app and put it somewhere, you say, okay, I mean, we want to have the perfect app that is going to bring us across this river with, a high-rise bridge with the lights and the fence and payment service and everything. So, that's the app we want to build. And before you build that app, probably somebody else built this and let the first couple of thousand customers across the bridge. So we also have to consider that, do things in the right way. The most important thing when you have a repeatable cloud-enabled business is to get customers on board, because customers will pay for the next developments in your organization. So please bear that in mind as well. Don't build a bridge with everything fancy if just a small bridge like this can do the work. Okay. I have some useful links that I'll run through as well. The Office Dynamics 365 official landing page can be found online, of course. There's also a lot of information, and when we talk about extensions and app source, that's the one you should go for, aka MS apps for financials. Sorry, that's the way to go for all of that. We also, of course, encourage you to do your own demo environment so that you can test out what is in Dynamics 365 if you didn't already do that. You have to create, if you are outside the US and Canadian area, you have to create an account on demos.microsoft.com and use that account for the actual demo, because otherwise you will not be let in by the demo environment. On the Dynamics Learning Portal, on Partner Source, there's a lot of information on Dynamics 365 already. Trainings, you can actually spend a lot of time in there and get trained on the stuff available. There's some webinars also on DLP that is explaining more about the product. And then you can find the documentation on the doc side below. So I hope that this will be helpful for you as well. And this is a snap from the DLP, so you can see there's actually a lot of information in there already. So we actually come to the end. It was a short update, a little bit hindered by the ability not to tell you a lot of things, but I hope that the kick of extensions start looking into that. If you need help, please call us or go to the resources that I just posted in here. So that's it for today. I don't know, do we open for questions or Daniel?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any questions?
Any questions that we must have the right to answer?
Do you hear me? I've one question.
Hmm?
Do you hear me? I've got one question.
Yes, please.
Now you have in NFV certain country database. So for Holland you have a database for Germany, Denmark, etc. How's it organized in the Dynamics 365?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, because the US and Canada is the only available solutions right now, and that the product needs to be localized for the individual countries. So you will have individual versions of the products as we move forward, exactly as we know it from NAV today.
It's the same principle of the NAV.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, anything else? No?
Good meeting.
All right, but if there's no more questions, then you have my email address here. Or you can contact the QBS on our websites. So feel free if you have anything there. Otherwise, I wish you all a good evening, whoever you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right.